Welcome to the Bath Fizz and Foam YouTube channel. My name is Robyn French Smith, and today we're going to talk about the saga of the Chunkadust Voodoo Doll mold. So this mold, I really wanted it to work. I tried to do it first on a Facebook Live, which in general, I try not to do molds for the very first time on a live, because then if it doesn't work and it's like my fault, like user error that it doesn't work, then I feel bad, you know? So of course it didn't work. So then I tried to do it. I was like, okay, I think I ironed it out. I think I figured out what's going on with it. So I tried to do it on a Patreon live, which is what you're seeing right here. So with Patreon, I've been like doing where I'm recording the session for the YouTube video and I'm letting them watch me record it live and talking to them while I do it. So that's what you're seeing right here. And the pins kept breaking. This was an absolute lesson in humility. I had a plan, like I had something cool I wanted to do with the top of the Voodoo Doll man, but I needed the pins to work because the pins were not one of the things I wanted to modify. Like I really needed it to work. And ironically, I was already making a video about humidity, which I just put out. So I had already been making a video about humidity for the YouTube. And then it like struck me that like, hey, stop being a dumb bitch and look at your humidity. And my humidity, which is normally like in the 70 to 80% range, had dropped down into the 40% range. I think it got even as low as like 37% humidity, which is extremely low for me. I do have a couple times of the year where I get low humidity, but it's not usually until December. So this is very like early in the year for me to have low humidity, and I just wasn't even thinking, like it wasn't even on my horizon as what could be an issue going on with this mold. Like I thought it was because the sides of the shape were very straight, so sometimes that can cause issues. I took out my little piece of sandpaper and like sanded it. I tapped the mother shit out of it as much as I could. I tapped and tapped. It was like it was not working. Ugh. So when I have a mold that is difficult and I just for some reason cannot get it to work for me, one of the things I try to do is set it aside, and kind of anytime I'm working on other bath bombs, just give that guy like one shot. Just give it a shot and see how it goes, just so like eventually I will hit that sweet spot and like figure out what is going on with it. So I set it aside, and when I was working on the Supermoon glowing jack-o'-lantern, the Supermoon glowing jack-o'-lantern video, which will be coming up in next week or in a few days, whatever. When I was working on that, at the end, I got to the end of the mix and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna give this little chunk of dust guy, I'm just gonna give him a shot. And are you freaking serious? It worked. And I was like, motherfucker. It's because I'm now using the low humidity recipe. Like I bet you anything that it's the low humidity recipe. That's why it's working. So, and I mentioned this in the video that I did on humidity, but yeah, we have a low humidity trio that is on our website, and I use Robyn's favorite because, hi, I'm Robyn. This is my favorite. Anyway, so, and that's what I was using. That's what I'm using right here in this video. It's Robyn's favorite low humidity recipe. And I believe my humidity on this day was in the neighborhood of 37 to 38. And at last it works, and it's beautiful, and it works beautifully. It unmolds beautifully. I don't have to tap it like a bizarre amount. Like I don't have to like sit there and tap it, like brutally tap it. Like I literally damaged the sides of the mold tapping it so hard in that previous clip. So no, with this recipe, the correct recipe for my correct humidity, it unmolds perfectly, like so smooth like butter. It unmolds perfectly. It does great. Now, one of the things I did do is I used less mix in it. I think the ones that I was doing on the video with the tan, I have more mix in there and they're like fatter. So I don't know if that was part of it. And I also don't use embeds in this just because I didn't want to like push my luck. I just wanted it to work. So I just wanted it to work. And so I didn't want to push my luck. But I don't think that embeds won't work. I'm just saying, like, I think I was probably overpacking it as part of it. And sometimes with embeds, it's easy to overpack it because you have like the weight of your regular bath bomb that mix that you're trying to get in there, and then you're trying to get embeds in there too, and you're just like putting a lot in there. And sometimes the girl's like, look, I just need you to not do that. So the whole point of this is that I got it to work, and I'm very happy that I I'm very happy that I gutted it to the work. And there is the mold. It is from Chunkadust, and like, I really like their molds. That was a thing where I was like, there's gotta be something, like there has to be something else going on, because oh, here's the one I made. Here's the one I made, and I'm just gonna like double check the weight on it. Just to double check. Okay, weight good, cool. But I was like, there has to be something else going on, because like, I do not have a single Chunkadust mold that just won't work for me. Like, just every single one breaks. And like, I know that they do a really good job testing their molds. And so I was just like, no, there has to be something else going on. Like, why is this not working? And it's just, you know, it's one of those things. It's a lesson in humility. I don't know if I already said that, but it was like one of those things where it was like, hello, practice what you preach. You know, like I was in the middle of making a video about humidity. I don't know if you want to go there with me, but you could say it was a lesson in humidity. Thanks. I'm here all week. Try the veal. It's great. Yeah, I like corny jokes. Sorry if you don't know that by now. Hi. So there we go. And so I just filled it up. I think I filled them to 3.8 ounces. Just barely tapped the sides, you know, tapped the back. Pull the sleeve down just a little bit, flip her over, pull the sleeve off, and tap that press piece just a tiny bit to release it. And bitch, yes! Look how fucking perfect that is. It's perfect. They're all perfect. That's the thing about in the tan one, like I zoom in so you can like see all of them, but like I think maybe one. I think the very first one I did looked okay, and then like there's maybe one like halfway through where it looks okay too. But I think I had like added a bunch of oil or more binder or something. I was like with it and like sanding it between each one. Like I tried so many things to get it to work, and none of them worked. I tried so many things. If you watch the Patreon, like you know, I tried so many things to get it to work, and I couldn't. And so this is a really good lesson in, you know, sometimes when a mold is not working for you, number one, if a mold isn't working for you, don't give up on it. These 3D printed molds in particular are, you know, more expensive than like a vacuum form mold. So that's an investment that you made. So don't just like give up on it if it's not working out for you. There's all different types of things that you can do. That's why I do these videos, to like try to give you like different ideas. If a mold's not working for you, try this, try this, try this. The same thing maybe won't work for me that works for you, but eventually you're gonna like see, oh, okay, sometimes she does this weird thing, you know, whatever. And secondly, that like, okay, if it won't work for you, don't give up, keep trying. Number two, sometimes it's not the mold. Like, we're so quick to blame the mold. We are so quick to blame the mold. And I understand, because it's like, I don't want to blame myself. I like myself. This mold means nothing to me. This mold is not who I am. I am who I am. And so, like, it's so much easier to blame a mold and say that that's the problem. And I'm not saying that there aren't some molds out there that are like, they've got issues. There are some molds out there that I don't fuck with, because people are like, oh, I want to see you do that mold, and I'm like, I'm not going to, because I can look at that mold and tell you right now that it is heartache in a little plastic shell. Like, I can look at it and tell you what's going on with it. But sometimes, that, you know, that's a reality. That is true. But for the most part, there's usually something you can do, especially when, here's the thing, if the mold maker themselves makes bath bombs, I'm gonna trust them like way more than somebody who doesn't make bath bombs. And that's just like the reality of it. I do try to pick mold makers who are exclusively designing their own bath bomb molds, or work exclusively with like a designer, so they have like their own designs, their own styles that they are doing for themselves. So they're not buying the STL files to print the 3D printed bath bombs, which I don't have a problem with that. If people are doing that, like, that's your deal. You can do that. You have the right to do that as long as you're buying them legally. Like, I don't care. But I prefer to work with mold makers who are designing their own molds and also creating bath bombs themselves, because you're gonna get a better result. Like, you're just gonna get a better result from that than somebody who's just like, you know, purchasing files and printing them, which it's like I basically look at that as like the drop shipping of the bath bomb mold making world, right? Like, you can do that, you can totally do that, and if that satisfies you as a maker and like that meets your needs, then fine. Like, there's all different reasons that we go into business, and so like I'm never gonna judge somebody for doing that, you know, as long as it's obtained legally. Like, I don't care. But I'm always gonna first and foremost choose mold makers who are designing their own stuff. And so, like, one of the things, like I said, about Chunkadust is, like, I know that they test their molds. Like, they do a really thorough job testing their molds. And so, I don't know. It was just, there was a lot. There was a lot that went on here. I learned a lot. I don't know. This may be weird, but I hate failing. I feel like most people are like that, but I particularly hate failing, like publicly or in front of other people. So, but it's also like part of doing, like making sessions live. Like, that is part of it, and I know it's going to happen, and I'm okay with it if it happens. But my biggest thing is that, like, I feel a responsibility to the mold makers who like trust me to give like fair representation of their molds that they're creating. So there it is, finished. They are super cute. All of them are absolutely flawless and perfect. Here is the painted voodoo doll guy, and here he is in the water. Now, if you are one of our Patreons, first off, I want to thank you. So here you are. Here's a list of our Patreons for the month of September. I appreciate you guys so much. And our Patreons are getting some bonus material where they're going to see how I covered this little voodoo doll guy with some of our bubble dough and then created texture on top of it, added little button eyes and little heart. Very cute. The Patreon guys are going to get a little behind the scenes access and get to see how that is created. If you would like some more information about Patreon, I will leave a link in the description. Otherwise, if you're not interested in paying for access to our channel or extras, because you don't know me, that's fine. Come visit us at Bath Fizz and Foam, Bath Bomb, and Bubble Bar Support Group. That is a free Facebook group. The only requirement for membership is a desire to know more about bath bombs and bubble bars. So you can come join us there, and we have free content. We have tons of free content. Every Monday we do a live stream, and you can see me make something free live. It's really fun. You can also come visit us at bathfizzandfoam.com. That's where you can find the recipe that I used in this video and tons of other recipes. We also have color studies and all kinds of other really great resources for you on our blog. So yeah, come visit us somewhere. Like, so I don't care where you are, just somewhere along the line, come visit us. We would love to see you. Our goal is to see other makers be successful, and that's what makes us happy, and that's our goal. So we want you to be a happy maker. So with that, let me end and say, happy making.